Hey, welcome to Real Talk, episode 186. I'm Todd. This is AJ, and we're back.
Hello, folks. We got a show for you today. Thank you for hopping on and joining us.
What's Real Talk? It's an opportunity to talk about life, God, the Bible, everything in between. Somewhere in the description of this video or podcast, you will see a link, or at least the description of the link. It types out www.theremnant.life/real-talk. The real on that is REAL, like the show you clicked on. If you click on that link, go all the way down to the bottom of the page, you'll have a button that says Submit. Click Submit, enter your question about God, life, the Bible from a Christian perspective. Maybe you don't have anyone to ask, or maybe you feel uncomfortable asking your pastor or someone in your church, or it's a sensitive topic, but you really need an answer. This is the place to do it. Why, you ask? Because that question will go into our database instantaneously and anonymously. We genuinely can't see you. We don't know who you are. Couldn't find you if we tried. And that's what the show's about. We also sometimes take a look at articles.
Yes.
And from a Christian perspective, and give you a little insight into our lives. And hopefully will motivate you to seek out the answers that you're looking for in life and have those kinds of conversations at home with friends, etc.
Boom.
That's it.
Hey, shout out to our real ones, our Real Talk Club. You guys are amazing. That's gonna be Sierra, Greg, Mad Max, Krista. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for donating to our club. You guys are amazing.
Bam. Thank you. All right. Anything going on in your life, man?
So, I got one thing.
Okay.
And this is going to be ridiculous probably. But I've got one thing.
All right.
So, I've noticed that some of my anxious tics are coming back, and you had to tell me about this earlier. So, whenever AJ is anxious, whenever I'm anxious, I start doing weird little things. And one of them that I've noticed that I was doing is I'm starting to rub my arms for some reason. And it's really weird. So Todd had to tell me earlier, hey, man, you're rubbing your arms like a weirdo.
Yeah, that's a true story. It did happen.
So when I was younger, little story, I never really knew that I had like anxious tics. I just did these things.
Sure.
So one thing that I used to do that I'm so glad I don't do anymore is I used to pull my eyelashes. Literally used to just pull my eyelashes, dude.
Oh, sorry, that was my knee. If you guys saw a look of pain, my knee just did a terrible pain. Go ahead.
So that was one of my main ones. I used to just pull my eyelashes like a crazy person. And another thing I used to do that apparently I still do sometimes, but I don't notice this at all, is I used to smell my hands all the time. So now that's a little funny.
You still do that one sometimes.
Yes, I still do that one sometimes, and it's weird because that's when I don't notice. It's weird because I just do it, don't even notice. But so apparently one of my newer ones now is I rub my arms, and I think my justification in my mind is like, I have dry skin, so I'm just gonna rub my arms. But really, it's just an anxious tic. So that is one of the latest things I've realized in my life is I'm developing some new anxious tics. Now, one that I was better at, but I'm slowly starting to get a little worse at, is chewing on my fingers. I'm trying to quit chewing on my fingers, and I did have a good stint there where I wasn't doing it as much, but now, man, I'm kind of back. Yeah, I'm back to gnawing on them. And it's so annoying because I had my fingers looking nice for a little bit. Now they're just kind of gross again.
I read somewhere, I don't know if this is true, because I personally never look at someone's fingernails, but I have heard that ladies do look at men's fingernails.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just gnawing away.
Me too. I don't know if that's true. I read it somewhere. So, if you read it, it's obviously true. But yeah, let us know, ladies. Do you notice or pay attention to a guy's fingernails? Do you notice that? Is that something you look at? Because I don't know if you guys have ever heard that. It's said that one of the first things women actually notice about you is your shoes. Did you hear that before? Ladies, is that true? If you're a lady fan, a lady friend, let us know in the comments below and or using the link www.theremnant.life/real-talk. Do it right now. Take a second. Pause. Go and tell us. Do you look at fingernails and or do you notice a guy do you notice shoes right away? I have heard that.
Man, that's always one thing then, because if that's true, man, my shoes, I wear my shoes down, dude.
Yeah, I get it, man.
Like I will not buy a new pair of shoes until they're like trashed. So even like the Converse I have on right now, I mean they're ripped up. Like you could like see my pinky toe sticking out, like with my sock.
Yeah, man, I think that's kind of the vibe you've sort of embraced here.
Mm-hmm.
Like a I don't even know what to call it anymore. Kind of a rocky hipster or something.
It's very cheap to go to Walmart and get new shoes.
I'm a dude, and I've said this before. Walmart's clothing and shoe game is really upped. they've really. I hate giving Walmart any credit. Never mind.
Never mind.
But local marts.
I have one, I think, for what you were looking for. Would you call me a grungy hippie?
Sure. No, that sounds appropriate.
That sounds appropriate. So I'm a grungy hippie when it comes to style and life.
I was gonna say. Hey man, it's apparently likable. People like it. Peace, love, dope, right? Whatever.
Peace, love, and dope.
Don't smoke dope.
Don't do it.
No, this.
We probably should edit that, but it's too late. Don't be a dope for dope. There.
Yeah. Don't do that. No.
I about passed out.
Isn't that what they used to say? Peace, love, dope, or something?
Honestly, I have no
Something
idea.
like that, I guess.
I don't know anything.
I have
man,
no
about-
idea.
For as much as I come off
Oh,
as a hippie, I know nothing about them.
All my braid frat.
Frat boys?
No.
That's what you said.
I had to stop my
going well
speech
so far.
impediment. Anyways, we don't want another incident of flag football.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Anyways, all that flashed into my mind when you were talking about that was the DARE program.
That's what I was thinking when I said don't be a dope for dope. Yeah. Hey, shout out to Dare. I still remember the lessons they told me.
Yeah.
I don't remember what that dog's name was though.
I didn't know they had a
McRuff
dog.
or something. Yeah, there was a
Was it a bulldog,
at
actually?
one I don't maybe. I just remember one time they had a dog mascot.
I'm
you
a
about to Google
weirdo
it?
because I was in like three different
Absolutely.
programs. Like there was three different school programs. I was young enough to still have the tail end of DARE.
Dog.
And then I mid
Yep.
career
Told
in
you.
school.
Take a bite. McGruff. I was right. McGruff the crime
dog.
crime
Nice.
dog.
That's
I
amazing.
should have said it, but I was afraid that it was actually from Crime Stoppers, so I didn't say it. It's definitely McGruff.
Crime Stoppers.
better.
Now they have a lion.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's changed like 3 or 4 times.
Look at that freaking
I
dog.
remember,
Cool
I
dog.
don't remember if this was Dare or if this was just a whole other company, but I remember, do you guys remember the Wacko Tobacco?
Wait, I'm looking up. Yeah, what?
Do you remember the Wacko Tobacco ads in like magazines?
I'm not sure
No.
that I did.
Dude,
I
those
didn't read
were,
magazines.
I think he was a part of it. Now there's a lion.
and I think we used to have,
His name, Darren the Lion. What an odd name.
Darren the
Oh,
Lion.
Darren. That makes sense.
Oh,
Embarrassing.
good call.
Anyway.
It's clever. So yeah, Dare. Shout out.
Yep. They gave us free shirts one time.
Yeah.
Dude,
Don't do
I never
drugs,
got a free shirt from
Well,
them.
probably did drugs.
Anytime I was supposed to get a free shirt, I never got one. I gave my blood once because I was
drugs,
told I was going to get a free. Because I was going to get a free shirt from a blood drive. Never got it.
No, I never got it either. I was at the tail end of DARE when DARE.
They don't do it anymore?
They don't. They still do it, but it's still like a thing. But it's not like in schools as much as it was
Yeah.
before.
They don't do
like
anything
have
in
like.
school nowadays.
Well, I was in 4 different programs because it changed almost every year. It felt like it was like DARE throughout elementary school, and then middle school it was like one program and then another, and then high school there was one, and then they were like, wait a second, we should probably talk to the juniors and seniors and remind them that drugs are bad, and they come up with this other program that I don't remember to this day. That was just strange.
Yeah.
I only remember Dare. That's the only one I remember.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
So-
anything else?
Yeah, man. Actually, I just remembered one thing. I just wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. Was in my Bible reading. I'm still reading through Acts, doing the whole I'll do a section or two at a time now. I try not to overdo it, and I'm in Acts 13 right now, and I know I've read this before, but every time I read it, it just like smacks me in the face of like, dang, dude, like I am not very bold in my faith, like Peter or like Saul or any of these guys, and I believe this is Saul. Yep. This is Saul, and it's him and Barnabas when they went to Cyprus, and there was a magician named, and maybe you'll actually. This is a great question for you because I don't know how to enunciate this guy's name. It's Bar Jesus or is it Bar Is it Bar Jesus? Okay, so there's a magician there named Bar Jesus, and he was spreading He was false witnessing, and Paul just came at him, man, with some truth, and it was amazing. Calling him, "You son of the devil, you enemy of all righteousness, full of all deceit and villainy. Will you not stop making crooked the straight paths of the Lord?" And I was like, dude, he just went at it. He says, "And now behold, the hand of the Lord is upon you, and you will be blind and unable to see the sun for a time." Immediately the mist and darkness fell upon him, and he went about seeking people to lead him by the hand. And I was like, and it also says that the people were astonished at the teaching of the Lord. So once again, like, just a continuation, dude, of like realizing that like just the boldness of, you know, Paul and Peter and all these dudes, man. And it's like, I am not very bold, you know. I wouldn't, when I try to put myself in that situation, I don't know if I would have said that, you know. And it's like, dang. So, you know, it just kind of hit me in the mouth, man, of like, I need to be more bold in my faith. Like, I need to speak out more. I need to like, because for me, I just don't, you know. I don't, if I see things, I don't say them all the time. Or if I do, I just blurt it out like a dummy, you know, or like I'm not very, you know. So I don't know. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's just another thing that I realized, you know, just I'm so in awe, I guess, of like their boldness, because at the end of the day, they were just men like I am.
Yeah, man.
And it's like, dang, dude, like I know I have that capability, but I just don't do it. So, and it's like those moments that come up, you know, when is the next one that's going to come up? I don't know, but like
why don't you do it?
Exactly, my
hope.
hope.
I'm asking you, why don't you do it?
I think a lot of fear hinder me. You know, very fearful a lot of the time. And, you know, I get scared of, you know, what people are going to say, what they're going to do, you know, and it's like, man, I just don't live in that faith a lot of the time that they did, that confidence, right? Like, it doesn't matter. You know, I think about, you know, when I believe it's Paul and the rest of the crew, they literally get beat up, and they're like, and they're rejoicing as they leave town. It's like, dang, you know, so I want my faith to get to a point where it's like that, where I'm just so, I'm so in touch with the Holy Spirit, man, that I'm just going to say things, and it's not going to be reliant on whether or not something's going to happen or they're going to react a certain way, you know? That's what I want.
I get it. You have to practice on the small things, though, if you're going to be ready for the big ones. So the times that you have to speak up, when the cost isn't death, you know, when it's just somebody being upset.
That's so true, and like I still get stuck on that. You know, I have brief moments where I'm able to get get past that, and I just dive in. And there's times where I don't, and it's like, dang. So you're right. That's good. But that was the only other thing I had about life, was just reading through Acts. Still, man, it's just so good. I love it. Yeah, it's such a good book, man, and like I'm so glad I'm reading it the way I am.
Yeah.
Instead of just like reading like an entire chapter, not taking hardly anything, just like a couple sections at a time, and it's just like really like still hitting me, man. So just such a blessing. Like that sermon, man, that you said that. It's just been, I haven't stopped. So it's been good. So thank you for saying that, because it's changed the way I've read entirely.
Yeah, man. That's cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, Acts is interesting. It's funny you said that. One of the articles I was reading before the show was about a guy who started a ministry called the Last Reformation. I haven't looked into it, but he's from Denmark, and the idea is to return the church back to Acts, which is a lot of what we want to do here.
Yeah,
as well. But so it's interesting that you ended up bringing up Acts. But anyway,
how about you, man? How you doing? How's life?
How's
the highway of life?
It's going. We had an update on. I don't know if we said this, but we've started flag football again for the first time in a couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
And the first week things started just like they always do. We got smoked, which is angering to me. Primarily quitting, which I've talked about. I can't stand, that sounds so harsh, but I really struggle with people that quit, man. So that's what happened. But that's not what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about a phenomenon that has been happening since I've ever played flag. And you guys have been here for much of this. I once again had a guy try to fight me for nothing.
Yep.
And both you guys were there.
Yep.
So to tell you guys what happened here, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. We play these guys, and by the way, we had an awesome game. It was a good game. We should have won by like 4 touchdowns. We ended up tying.
Oh, yeah.
But so we play this game, and they got this guy, this tall guy. And I noticed it early on that when I caught a ball, he wrapped me up, right, and pulled a flag. I'm not against that. I get it.
Yeah.
You know, I've told our guys. But he put a little, what I call a little hot sauce on that, which means he thumped me a little, right, with his shoulder. So the first time I kind of just like, all right, cool, maybe he didn't mean to. Because, I'm a fairly big guy. I've played real football. I would love to just You want to go? Let's just truck, man. You just want to ball like big boys? We can do that. But see, there it is coming out. But we don't do that. So I let it go. Then he continues to do this because I actually got a lot of balls this game, and he's doing it to other people. Well, then, and I can't remember which came first, and maybe you guys do. Did me swatting the ball come first?
Yes.
Okay, then this all makes sense. So he had continued to hit our guys, and I went to the ref, who this is a lady I kind of knew over the years. Mm-hmm. She's still there. And I was like, hey, why are you letting him do that? She goes, who, blah, blah, blah. I go, that safety's hitting us every time. It makes me want to, and I'm pretty sure, keep in mind, I was encouraging to their team. I was saying things like, good job, great catch, all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
I was not being aggressive. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Nope.
So, and this is my life.
That's why it's a phenomenon.
Exactly. So, later on, this guy who was talking about hitting people and he literally told his team at one point to hit them, wrap them up and hit them. And I was like, I still kept quiet because, as you guys know, I've been trying to keep calm while I play flag because I love football, and it's hard for me not to slip back into when I play.
Yep.
So the guy comes across. I play safety. Played a lot of safety. Played it at the highest level. Not the highest. The highest would be NFL. I did not play it there. But I played at the mid-level, right? Step below that. A couple steps. Still above normal.
Mid-high.
Yeah, still above, I played at a very high level, professional athletes, okay? Mm-hmm. So I know how to play it. I like it.
Oh, yeah.
So this guy, I don't get tested a lot on that side. We kind of lock it down. This guy comes across. If you know what a post is, then it was a post. If you don't know what a post is, essentially he started on the other side of the field and then cut across to my side of the field. He's a tall guy. He's probably like 6'3", 6'4", probably.
Yeah, around there.
So he goes up for the ball. I come in, and I swat the ball like a cat with a ball of yarn. I swat it out of his hands, okay? Now, typically in flag, because I'm a nice guy, I don't play like I really play. Now, I didn't do anything wrong here, but because it's this guy and he's hitting me, I'm like, okay, we're playing. There was a little contact. It was legal. They didn't call me for anything because I swatted the snot out of that ball.
It was, you met at the same time. I mean, it was
good play.
Absolutely.
So he gets up, and he runs over. And as he runs over, and this is towards the end of the game, they've been hitting people. Oh, yeah. We end up getting, I think that was third down. We get the ball back. Was it the next play?
I think so.
So I hear him say, yeah, come my way. You could come, blah, blah, like essentially threatening me.
Yep.
So at this time, LT came out a little bit. and I just said, hey, man, I'll come your way all day long. And he kept talking. I said, I'm not the guy to be talking to like this. I know that sounds, that was me going to a darker place.
Yeah.
And letting this guy know, the football player in me is like, dude, I'm the wrong guy to try to bully right now.
Mm-hmm.
So he keeps, whatever, he talks junk. I don't know if it was the first play or maybe the second play after this.
It was soon after.
Okay, so we'll say first or second play. I run, I don't know if I even told you guys what I ran. I ran a hitch.
Yep.
And to get the first down. Which means, for those that don't know football, I run past the place I need to go to, and then at an angle, I come back towards the sideline.
Yep.
Brandon, plays our quarterback, threw me the ball. I did this behind their corner in front of the safety because I knew this guy had been biting all week, the whole game. I catch the ball. Of course I do. And I knew instinctively what was happening. Now, the funny part is I'm going to tell my version, and I want you to tell me, you tell what actually happened.
Okay.
So from my version, I catch the ball, I turn and look. He dives at my knees. 100%, like we all agree that he dove at my knees. He was going for the
right? He wasn't going
like, am I wrong here?
Oh, 100%.
So he dove at my knees, and in my mind, what happened was, and it was still funny, he slid down my body. I jumped out of his legs and kept going in. As I went, like he was trying to hurt me. You shouldn't do that even in real football. I laughed at him. Did you hear me laugh at him?
Absolutely.
And which felt great. Okay. So I come back and I see that the ref has called me for flag guarding. And Brandon had said to him, dude, he tried to hit him.
Yeah.
Because I thought when I saw the penalty that he was actually giving us more yards. Because it was like, clearly, this guy tried to hurt me. And then I see he goes back, and I'm confused. And I come back to the huddle, and I'm going, they go, yeah, they called you flag guarding. And Brandon, our quarterback, had said to him, dude, are you not going to call anything for him hitting him? And the guy goes, it's effing. And he said the word flag guarding, whatever, which it was not. Well, it's either this or that. So before I go on, well, I will now have AJ and Clint right? AJ, you could start. Clint, explain, because were you guys in the booth at the time?
I was
now,
right there.
Now, I was going to say, it just so happened that this play happened directly on our sideline. I was probably right in front of you.
Oh, it was.
So you had a great angle. So
Best
why don't
angle.
you tell me because I promise you that what I told you is what I thought happened. And the only way that I knew what really happened is AJ coming up to me after the game and saying, "Hey, man, that was awesome when you did this." And he can attest. I go, "What are you talking about?" And then he explained it to me. So, AJ, why don't you explain what happened?
So clearly, you've already set the stage here.
Yeah.
So the play, I'll just go back to the play.
Yeah.
Clearly the guy's hot, and I see he hasn't taken your eyes off you.
Oh, really? The whole time?
No, he's looking at you the whole time. He's hoping you get the ball. I can already tell.
Lover's laid type stuff.
Yeah.
He wants it.
So you run your hitch, and I see him just bolt. He's coming at you. I mean,
before I even catch it?
Exactly. You take your turn, and he's already coming.
Okay.
And so you catch the ball, and I see you turn around. And
now, did you see him diving at that point?
100%.
Even
He's coming.
He was spearing your knees.
he was going to spear me. Is that what it looked like?
He was coming for your legs.
Okay.
100%.
All right.
And if anything, your waist. I mean, he was coming
Either
down.
okay, but he was
coming
definitely,
down.
but he was in the air.
Yeah,
he was
he's
spearing.
coming down, bro. I mean, I wish I could stand up and show you guys,
Yeah.
but I mean,
all right.
he's
So
coming,
either way,
he's coming down.
yeah, it would have been a dangerous
You're not
thing,
coming,
right?
he was-
It would have been a dangerous.
he's still
100%. It was dangerous.
I wasn't looking.
Yeah,
All right.
100% dangerous. And you turn around and you see him just in time, and you stiff arm the daylights out of this guy. you catch the ball, put the ball in one hand, and you just start at his face and shove his face down through his chest, and you just shove him into the ground.
Oh man!
And then you laughed.
What did he do after I ran off? Do you remember?
He went boo, hit the ground, and then tried to get up because the play wasn't over.
No,
'Cause you didn't get your
I kept running.
Because
Yeah.
so you got by, and then I think the other guy came up and got your flags, and by that time I think he was going, "Oh, all right," and just started. I don't even remember what he said, but he said a bunch of stuff. But after that, he didn't come at you as hard.
No, and I still scored him right in front of him later.
Yeah, because if I remember, a couple plays later, you did a similar route, and he came up and bumped you a little bit, but then just pulled your flag. He didn't try to go for your legs again.
Yeah,
So
which is best.
you stiff armed.
Yeah.
The daylights.
Now here's the thing: you guys don't realize. Go ahead, Clint.
And speaking from the side of the coach that quite literally could have done Bowdygate in my time if I ever coached, this was textbook shred a knee. He wasn't going for the waist. He was going to literally concave Todd's knee. It was. If I was coaching a team, I would be like.
So it looked like he had no issue with hurting me. Pretty much.
No, he was going for that knee. He was going for that knee bad.
Now, the thing you got to understand, I think it was at the end of the game, and we were kind of talking, and AJ comes up. I didn't even say anything. He goes, "Dude," I still remember because we were out behind the bleachers, and I was getting ready to just get out of there because I was also cramping a little bit.
Yeah.
And I come out, and you go, you go, "Dude, that's freaking awesome when you stiff arm that guy." And I go, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "You stiff arm that guy right in the face and threw him." I go, "What guy?" And then he explained it, and I go, "Oh, that's what he called flag guarding."
Yeah.
So if you don't know stiff arms, when you take your hand and well, it depends on where you're at.
Yep.
Chest or face
Mask.
usually, or helmet. And I played running back, and as well, and that was pure instinct because I promise you, I didn't plan that. It must have just been
You saw him.
what's that word? Muscle memory, right? There's a guy coming in my waist. I did have. I'm not bragging, but I had a deadly stiff arm back in the day, and so apparently it's still there, which is good to know.
Yeah.
And now, all I remembered is him kind of sliding off and laughing because, it's ridiculous. I was laughing because he's like, "Dude, you tried to tackle me and still failed to get my flag."
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so this guy tries the whole game for no reason, and I legitimately encouraged them. So if you've been a literal viewer, if you've been a viewer from the beginning, literally the beginning of the show, you know that we've talked about our flag leagues. We haven't played in a couple years.
Yeah, it's true. It's been a while.
But this happens every single season that someone
at least one time.
inexplicably tries to fight me for no reason. Now, to give this guy credit, and maybe it was because he realized, okay, this dude's not playing, because he at least never got in my face like a lot of people do, and talk like I'm going to punch you or whatever. But again, at the end of the day, he did try to hit me.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't understand it. I don't understand because I genuinely go out of my way to be a nice guy and encourage them. If anything, my own team might want to punch me sometimes, but other teams, I've been encouraging. So it genuinely, and I mean this genuinely, I genuinely don't know why it happens. But it's so strange to me.
I don't know, man. I don't get it.
Tell me if I'm wrong. Does it seem crazy that because it does happen, right?
Oh yeah,
you guys have seen it.
I
mean that they want to fight me.
Yes, I don't understand it. I mean, like you said, the guy was being aggressive all game.
Yeah.
He was like close to hurting people a couple times.
And I didn't say anything till that last moment at all, even though he was doing that.
Yeah, well, he hit you one time.
That's what. Yeah.
And then you said, "All right." That's all you said.
Oh, did he get mad at that?
Probably.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you heard him say something.
He was mad before that. I called it like mid first half. I was like, oh yeah, he's getting angry. He's gonna start cheating. He's gonna start doing it, and that's fine. But yeah, he started talking. By the end of it, by about mid second half, towards the end of the second half, he started talking, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be bad.
The thing about it is, man,
he wasn't good enough to talk.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't want to be mean.
Yep.
But certainly was the best player on his team. Thought he was. The other thing, there's two. The funny thing too is AJ knows me very well, and he said this without saying it. That's why he goes. I think you called me LT.
I did
because he knows, as you guys know, there's kind of two personas to me, right? There's Todd, who you know and love, and then there's LT.
Yeah,
and LT is in many other areas of my life, but football particularly, I don't know how you would describe him, but he's right. Because here's the thing, I never talk junk first, but I'm very good at it once you talk to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to dudes who are ballers who actually talk. You know
right,
what I mean?
Oh, it makes sense.
So if you're a scrub, which, sorry, that's my language for a non-good player who acts like he is.
Yep.
And you talk to me, that's easy pickings.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've had dudes that backed up their talk, and I had to learn how to talk to them. And you got a guy that's actually like, I'm going to kill you, and you're like, he might kill me.
Yeah, he might kill me.
And then you got this guy, and you're like, you're not good.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's very. We laugh at it, but it's very frustrating that these guys want to do that. Man, especially when I go out of my way to try to be nice.
Yeah.
Until that happens.
However, we did gain some new fans.
Oh yeah.
We gained some new fans that were losing their minds.
I wish I knew what that guy yelled and got excited about when apparently I stiff arm. Because at first I thought he was just happy that the guy didn't tackle me. But I'm pretty sure he's probably saying something about the stiff arm.
Probably. You laid him out, dude. It was amazing. I wish I had a video of it.
I do too. I really do. Because I would like to know how it happened.
Dude, I mean, it makes sense that it was instinctual because, you didn't have a lot of time. You turned around and he was there and you just went.
Did it start in his face?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Just you just did one swift motion that started at his face and got his face and then worked his way down to his chest and just threw him on the ground. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah.
You just stopped him in his tracks.
That was a classic one of our moments too, though. Where you're coming up and I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
And it just happens. Anyway. And then I asked other people because I'm like, did this happen? They go, oh yeah, you did. And I was like, I don't know why I talk Canadian there, but
oh yeah, lad. Hey.
Anyway, it's fun. So be praying for us, both that we play well and that we're safe.
Yeah.
And we'll try to update you guys as we go. So right now we're 1-1. Because we have tied one and lost one.
Which I hope that's the case, because I was told that if you tie, they count as a loss.
For both teams?
Yeah, which is so dumb.
What an odd
I hope
thing.
not. I hope that's not the case, but...
Jordan later said there is a tie bracket.
Good. I hope that's the case.
Oh, yeah, it goes by points and stuff. That's true. So at the end, I do remember that. So it's either, I can't remember if it's points allowed or points scored.
Gotcha.
And then from there, if there's a tie, it goes to the next one.
Gotcha.
If it's points allowed, we should be pretty okay. I mean, we hold
That's
them
true.
pretty well.
Other than this, we let this team, who is far worse than the other team,
still score almost 60.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, we got
to train. We have some new.
We need safeties, man.
Yeah.
I got to be able to take a break on
Yeah.
safety. Because really that's all it was.
It's
some
true.
big plays. If you take, I think there was 4 of them that were like. Other than that, they didn't do anything.
Yeah, we definitely need, because you and Ryan do a pretty good job.
Well, that got, yes, but even Ryan's still learning.
Oh, absolutely. He's learning.
He's
and
just a heck of an athlete.
Absolutely. Ryan's learning, and then we don't really have like a.
I think you could do it, man. If you would just stick to the fact that no one can go behind you. You know what I mean? Like you just got to be
squirrel.
I get it. I get it.
It's such a squirrel. I just look at I get caught up in the ball. The ball's over there, and then
Cowboy
I go
Kenny
over
did
here.
okay for a couple plays, and then he does the same thing sometimes because But
I
he had a
do
good
it.
play.
I'm just not fast enough. I'm a big boy. We ain't built to play safety.
It was fun though this time.
It was fun. I agree.
Anyway, that's kind of the only big.
Got some turf burns for y'all to see.
Oh, dude, right on the tat again.
I know.
I remember that year. This is another funny flag story. AJ's like, I don't know, man. I just got this tattoo on my leg, and I'm like, bro, what are the odds that you're gonna get your scrape on your tattoo? He goes and plays literally in that game, gets the brand new tattoo scrape.
I think
it turned out okay.
I think I had 2 new ones because
Yeah.
I think I had it was one. I think it was this one
Yeah.
actually, and I had like a wrap on.
I just remember the leg one.
I do remember the leg
Yeah,
too.
and because I had talked him into it. He wasn't gonna do it. He's like, I should probably take you. I was like, dude, come on. Didn't I give you my sleeve the next time?
I think
though?
so.
Yeah.
I can
By
only
the way,
imagine.
if you want to be less sore for real, you need to go buy those calf sleeves.
Really?
Yeah, they're not just for injury prevention. I mean, for injury recovery, it also is prevention and circulation. It really makes a difference.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Look,
Anyway,
look, I learned something this week. Don't go as hard on legs because I killed it on legs last week, and I was into the game. I had to be like, yeah, I'm hurt. I don't know what's wrong with my left leg. I can't so I must have pulled something because I went. It was Wednesday. I'm like, Wednesday. You know what? It's fine. I do legs on Wednesday. It's a fine thing. We just bust it out. We go hard. I'm like, I'm gonna go real hard today. So I go real hard on legs. Didn't recover till like Monday of this week.
yeah, dude, I did that before too. On the week before when I did our walk, I had done it, and then I was like, my legs were tired. They didn't hurt, but they were tired. Anyway, that's it. That was fun. We'll keep you updated on the journey of flag football.
The journey of flag.
Maybe we'll try to get some clips. I know we did one year. That'd be funny to throw on here.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That actually reminds me of just a random thing about football, which is that old Pat McAfee show
I saw it.
that they can't use the NFL
So
logos.
it came PAFL.
Yeah, so they call it Professional American Football League, dude. It's so funny. Oh, man.
Then he gave him a little threat when he's like, I guess this fall we'll talk about some of the things. I try to keep it positive, but we'll talk about some.
Dude.
Can't stop him from doing that either.
Did you see the little graphic they made? It was so funny.
Oh, yeah,
It's like kid drawings.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know. That stuff's so funny, man. I love
It's
it.
good for companies to feel that because at the end of the day, if you want to play hardball, then people who work at those places and do that stuff without a non-disclosure agreement, guess what? They can say and talk about whatever they
You can have your own opinion about stuff.
They
That's
paid so much money for that.
$4 million.
$4 million, and then they're like, "Oh, you can use film even, but you can't use logos." Like what?
What's interesting is they don't recognize the influence he has now. So he's big enough now that he doesn't need that.
Pretty big, man.
Yeah. So anyway, moving on. We got questions.
Yeah, some
You got
questions.
questions. We might have answers.
We might.
Here we go. First question that came into our anonymous database for you, AJ, is
Yes.
What keeps you at your church?
It's a great question. The remnant, they took me in as family the minute I was here. I didn't grow up in church, and I wasn't really sure what to expect when I first came here, and everyone would just welcome me in with such open arms, and everybody was just so cool, and everybody was just so just them. Everybody, I could tell people were just being themselves, like they weren't just being the shell of themselves, like this quote churched version of themselves. It was just them, and church was just their life. It's part of it, and I was like, that's so cool, and I didn't fully understand that until later years, but that's what it was. The way that they treated each other is something that I wanted to be a part of, and that's why I kept coming. That's why I kept trying to get more involved, was because I didn't really have that in my life. I'd never really experienced people loving each other the way they were loving each other. And so, and also just the miracles I've been able to see, man. That's one thing that, there's an old note on my phone from an old sermon that Todd preached in 2018, the 4 M's to being on fire. And one of them is remember the miracles and remember the moments. And man, there's been so many moments and so many miracles that I've been so blessed to be a part of, but also even just my own life, what my own life has turned into because of, the remnant and how much that, we, so I'm looking on the outside.
Those people, man.
How much we follow, we try to follow the Bible and how real we are, and the community that comes along with being a part of this church is just I don't know, man. It's shaped a lot of who I am now, and it's just a beautiful thing. It's turned my life into a miracle. They've my relationship with Jesus wouldn't be what it was without the remnant. So that's why I stay.
Yeah, pretty similar, I think. One is because, God had a plan here, and I think he wanted me to do that and do this. I won't go too much detail of that, but two is the people. It's incredible. There's amazing people here, and I would agree with him on the miracles even being people. To be able to see some of the people's stories, man, and what happens when people's lives intersect with Jesus, it's an incredible thing, and I enjoy being a part of that and advancing the kingdom, one little bit at a time. So
yes,
that's why.
It's beautiful, man.
You're up, my friend.
Question for you, Todd.
Yes, sir.
Did you go buy some Eggo waffles after last week's episode?
No, and I forgot. I should. I need to.
Dude,
you got to remind me.
Eggo
You guys got to remind me because I'm going to throw some. Right now, the idea of eating that with some peanut butter on it is just the most exciting thing.
Oh, man. Eggos are. I haven't had Eggos in years, man.
Yeah, I'm going to. Thank you for asking.
Picking up groceries, so maybe there'll be some Legos in there. I don't know.
Legos or Eggos? I'll eat some Legos too. You definitely said Legos.
Look, I'm just happy that it was Legos with the speech impediment.
Touché.
Decided to
Well
go.
played. All right, AJ, this is a long one, but I think it's interesting and good. It's not a question, but more a thought. I saw Tom Brady and his wife are getting a divorce, which is sad. What's worse is all the people I saw laughing and reacting to it on social media. It's such a sick world we live in where not only does he have to go through that pain, but he has to release a public statement. To be hated by so many people because of his success, that people would then stoop that low to make fun of him and the situation.
Yeah, man, it is sad, and, when you're in an elevated position like Tom Brady's in, being a professional athlete, it is hard because your life becomes so much bigger. You are under you're under a microscope. People are just, I think that's the word I'm looking for, or what's the big one, like where you look like it like magnifies things. Magnifying glass.
Oh yeah,
right?
And
yeah.
a microscope.
Okay, same thing. I couldn't remember if that was the right one.
But I mean, microscope is good too.
Gotcha. Yes. So yeah, your life is under a microscope, man, and so everything that happens, especially like the likes of a divorce, it's so public, and that's hard, and like another thing that people don't realize too is like professional athletes, man, like they have to answer questions. Yeah. Like it's part of their contractual obligation. To be a professional athlete, it's in their contracts is they have to speak to the media. And so, of course, media being the media, they're going to ask about your personal life too at times. And that's hard. And like, as far as the people who, are laughing about it and making jokes and, honestly, it's just insecurity. And I think it's people wanting to feel better about their own lives. So, if they see a guy like Tom Brady, they're, like, hey, we'll try to tear him down because maybe I can feel a little bit better about myself. That's, to me, and some people just want to watch the world burn. They're bitter. They want to see bad things happen because they've had bad things happen. And so they just want people to feel what they feel.
Yeah, and I do think people also, I think you were right about success, and even the person that asked this question. Some people are so bitter that they want to see someone who has money and success and whatever. They revel in their hurt.
Yes.
Because in some sick way, it's almost like I want you punished for being successful. It's just
because
so
I
odd.
couldn't be.
Yeah. Anyway, great question. You're right. I mean, a great commentary on our society from you and the person writing this. It's true.
Absolutely.
Social media has really created, I don't know.
There's a lot of junk out there, man.
I was going to say, in a lot of ways, it's just magnified junk more than... I mean, there's some good, but, I mean, in comparison, it's dropping the bucket.
Yeah, dude, it's rough.
All right.
Todd, did you have a favorite gift or card during Pastor Appreciation Month?
I don't know. I don't mean to sound like a cop-out answer, but people were so kind. And, so many beautiful things said. So I don't necessarily know I had a favorite one. I had some that were surprising. Yeah. But, man, I can't say that because I think in saying something's a favorite, I would be implying that something else wasn't up to.
100%.
And I just genuinely believe I was just so blessed. I don't deserve it, didn't deserve it. People's just kind words and their gifts. So I'm very, very thankful for our church. I don't deserve you guys that are watching, listening. But yeah, very thankful.
That's good, man. I 100% agree with you.
You ready?
I'm ready.
How should we as Christians deal with enemies? I find myself wanting to be more vindictive with them, especially when it seems pretty obvious they're going to attack something I love.
It's hard, man. It's hard not to be vindictive sometimes towards an enemy. But the Bible does tell us to love them. That's what we're supposed to do. The example I have is Luke 6:27 and 28. I'm going to pull it up real quick. I thought I had it up and I didn't. Luke 6:27 and I hit the wrong button. 27 and 28. I'm almost there, guys. I apologize. Here it is. It says, but I say to you, this is Jesus, but I say to you who hear, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who abuse you. So, there it is. That's words from Jesus. And clearly it's a lot harder. It's a lot easier said than done. But that is how we show people the radical love and grace of God and of Jesus. It says that these people, the people on the outside, the people who don't believe, they're going to know us for our love for one another. And it's also, so not only is it important that we treat each other well and we love each other radically, but when you have opportunities to love your enemies, it's so important that you love them. And that doesn't mean you have to just accept what they're doing to you. That's not what that means. But, if you have an opportunity to somehow show them that you are different in the sense of, it makes no sense that you're being nice to me, or it makes no sense that you're offering this to me, take that up, because you're showing them Jesus. You're showing them just what they're missing out on by following Jesus. So hope that answers your question.
Good, man. And I don't really have anything to add to that. Yeah, when you're vindictive, that's when and it's pretty cool that you caught that. That's coming from a non-good place. But I don't think there's anything wrong. What helps me stop from being vindictive to my enemies? Now, it depends. If you have a voice in that person's life, then speak up. That's not being vindictive. If if they're saying something wrong, speak up. Because sometimes we feel like the only option is say nothing, do nothing, or do nothing publicly, but do something shady, snide and passive-aggressive. No, stand up boldly and call them out for their evil, right?
Yeah.
For whatever it is. Otherwise, if it's someone who you can't speak into for, maybe you don't know them personally or they never came to you, it sounds like in this case you do. But if not, then you can only pray. I deal with this a lot, so I understand. But, yeah, pray. God can do stuff, and that's the hope, right?
That's good, man.
What you shared, so.
Amen.
But I get it. I feel that same way a lot of times.
All right, so we kind of have, this is kind of a 2-in-1, because we had someone ask you something and then also do a follow-up.
Okay.
So it says, my dad isn't a part of my life because he made some really bad choices. One of my cousins will call him my dad whenever she sees me and tries telling me a story about him. I'm not close with this cousin. I just see her sometimes at her job. She doesn't know why my parents split. When she says my dad, I get that tightness because I don't want to be associated with him. But I am because I share a last name. How do I explain to her nicely that I don't want to hear about him because he made his choices in life and I can't be part of that? He isn't saved. And then the follow-up to that is also, I can't tell her the reasons or choices he made because they directly affect someone else, and I don't feel it's my place to share those people's traumas he has caused.
That's a really good question. And I'm sorry that you're having to go through that. And you're not talking about it, but I can tell, there's hurt in there. And I'm sorry for the hurt that happened to you. And genuinely, what I would say is, I think you said it here. I think you need to just be upfront. And something I learned from a counselor, and I've said this many times, is you don't owe anyone anything. So what I mean by that is you don't owe people the details.
Yeah.
So you could just say something as simple as hey, I understand that, you may not know this, so I just want you to know I don't really enjoy hearing about my dad. I don't really want to hear about what's going on in his life right now. We're some things happen that we're working through, and hopefully will someday. But I love talking to you. But if we could just make him not a topic of conversation, I'd really appreciate that.
That's perfect.
And then I think what's going to happen is you're afraid they may ask a question. But here's the thing. You don't owe them details. So if they say, well, why is that? And you say, honestly, just out of respect for him and me and people involved, I'd rather not talk about it. But if you could just honor that, I'd appreciate it.
Boom.
And I think you said it very eloquently there. And you don't owe people details, but you certainly sometimes you just have to be forward with people because they don't necessarily know. Now, if your cousin continued to do this after you asked them, then it changes it a little bit. But
yep.
I think that's how you do it. Hopefully 100%. That answers your question. Great question.
Absolutely.
Where are we at time-wise, Fun Turn?
We are probably around 37 is what I'm going to say.
We could give him a short one, but I'll let you because you actually read through. You want to lead us in our segment of. Well, first off, thank you for those great questions. Please continue to ask them at www.theramsey.live/real-talk. Thank you.
Boom.
Move on to our next segment known as Real News, Real Views, in which we give you real news and real views on them.
That's right. Real news with some real views.
So what do you got for us today, my friend?
So our first article that Fun Turn found for us, it's dealing with the Supreme Court. The title of it is the Supreme Court weighs if race should factor in college admissions. Here's affirmative action cases. Essentially, there were some arguments today in the court about whether or not there is, let's see here, whether education institutions can consider race as one of the many factors in determining student admissions, with both sides invoking concerns over discrimination and diversity. It was focused mainly on the University of North Carolina and Harvard College. So essentially, there are race-based affirmative action policies for both these institutions, with the SFFA, which is the Student for Fair Admissions Incorporated, arguing that these measures have led to discrimination against white and Asian students. Yes. So essentially, there was some. Let's see. I should have underlined more stuff, but
some have speculated the cases might lead to the overturning of the 2003 Supreme Court ruling in the
Yes.
case of Grutter versus Bollinger. Did you mention that?
I was
In which
about to, yeah.
Yeah, in which a 5-justice majority upheld a University of Michigan law school policy that used race as a factor in admissions. So essentially, before he goes on, because he knows a little more, as of now, they're allowed to. They have how do I say this? They have quotas of certain races they need to accept. So one student that is of a certain race but has lower academic performance could be put over and admitted and taking spots from people who, if you look at it on paper just scholastically, which is what it should be based on probably, well, that's what they're saying, someone who deserves to be there. So they're saying that's how it is now. They're saying that race should not have a place at all in. It should be just looking at.
Agreed.
Right? I mean, that's what they're saying.
That's exactly what they're saying. And so, essentially, back in 2003, when they actually did that, when they had that put in place, it says that they were actually only going to be doing that for about 25 years.
Yeah, Sandra Day O'Connor stated, race-conscious admission policies must be limited in time, and predicted that 25 years from now, the use of racial preferences will no longer be necessary to further the interest approved today.
Yep. So, and that was mentioned back in 2003.
That is interesting.
So I think the reason why this is being brought up is because we're getting close on that 25-year timeline, and essentially, I believe what the argument is that after that 25 years, they're saying, like you said, that what she said, that can only last a certain amount of time, and that because how could you ever, if it's going to go on forever, you're essentially saying like there is no ceiling or cap on how to say a university is quote officially diverse. Like there has to be like what's what I'm looking for? Like there has to be some sort of actual like not policy, but there has to be like a definition of that, and there seems to not be one. So that's really all these questions that they're asked. All these judges are asking all these questions. Let's see here. Yeah, because like one of them said, we enthusiastically embrace the duration requirement, but we don't think that the compelling interest in diversity will ever expire. Essentially saying there's no clear cut.
Sure.
Like there is no clear cut ceiling here of what you guys are trying to accomplish, which is why they're saying we should get rid of this.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's since we're supposed to give views, I guess I have the courage to do that. I understand, and I actually really think the wisdom in what they said. I can see that in certain time in our history, you had to have had that, because if not, it probably should have happened back in the 60s, though, right?
Sure.
But that I don't think it's necessary anymore. I really don't. And I think all you're doing is you're kind of furthering the idea of race being the most important thing, even if in your mind you're doing it to help diversity. Does that make sense?
100%.
Because you're still making dividing lines and creating a tension. And I thought it was interesting that it said not only whites, but Asians have been in their mind discriminated against because of this, because other races, right? And the fact we're even talking about this, other races are being put over them solely based on the factor of race. So, I think that education, this is my personal opinion, education should not be something where race is a factor. Like, is there other ways to do what they're saying? Because I've heard the arguments. Certain races don't have as good as school systems. That's their argument. Well, but say you have a white student and a student of another race coming from the same school, the exact same school, but the white student doesn't get that benefit, even though they were at the same poor education.
Yeah.
And I just think that that's not fixing the problem. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So that's just my opinion on it. And certainly you want equality across the board. Of course you want that. And I would never say to not have that, but I don't think it's fair.
I agree.
Education should, and maybe there's another way to factor those things in. Maybe instead of it being race, it's area. If you're from a certain area, maybe they can look at different factors, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
Sure.
If that's your real concern, right? And I hate to say it, but I think a lot of times it becomes a political banner by which certain parties can say they don't really care. They're just like, look at us. We're standing up for against racism, even though it's not really an issue of racism anymore.
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts.
No, I 100% agree with you.
So that's what I think.
And really, that's really the whole article, is them just explaining how, on the other side, they think that, the people who want to keep it, they're essentially just saying that, they think that if they were to get rid of it, it would just cause diversity of universities to plummet, and they think that would cause reverberations through the future of America.
Sure.
That's their argument.
Sure. Yeah, it's hard for me to see that as being what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Not in the world we're in now.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't know. I don't think that's the case.
The real reason they're worried is because if you can change one thing again with the whole university system, there's an opening for them to change more and reprimand more about the university system that we have currently. And colleges and university educational system is possibly the most corrupted and backwards way of thinking that we've ever had for higher education. So there's probably more of a concern of, oh, wow, well, we don't get to just do whatever we want now. We actually are going to get mandated again, or we're going to have an opening where people are going to be able to sue us more or be able to do things against us.
Or possibly
more.
Look into the cost, your tuition cost, which has risen hundreds of percentages. It's inflation's gone like this, but the cost of education, we could put a graph on it, has gone like this. You get what I mean? And I say that as a college graduate. I don't even think this is off topic, but to pick on your thing, I agree with you, because then you can look into other things, right? And that would be interesting, because we're talking, excuse me, it's a racket in my opinion.
Oh yeah. This is not looking into it as much as I probably should have ahead of time, but honestly, this whole mandate and this whole thing that they did with the Supreme Court was probably more of a shield for what you believe is a racket, honestly. And I would honestly agree with you. I don't think colleges are doing what they should be, and I think the cost of education is astronomical with what we should be doing, and I think it's absurd.
Well, and it just leads to more federal funding.
Exactly.
Too. That's all. But anyway, interesting article.
Yeah.
But I think, we have another article I do want to talk about on Halloween.
Yeah.
But we've given you guys extra long shows. So my view here, fellas, is we hold that over one extra week.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know what your thoughts are. Or on live.
Might as well.
Well, that's true.
Yeah,
because
and then
I think
bring back our favorite.
Huh?
I want to bring back our favorite guy. Well, at least he's my favorite guy to look up every once in a while.
Oh yeah, touche.
Guess who's back?
Yeah, we
back
could do that.
again.
That'd be a good one
Great
for live.
There you go.
Piece of love for Greg Hawk. So that being said, folks, we love you. You know that. AJ, do you have anything you want to say to the crowd?
Yes. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode, or listening, and or both, because maybe you do that. I don't know. But whatever you do, whether you listen, you watch, please like, share, and comment on this. We do interact with you guys in the comments. We do.
Really, we do.
We really do. I do, I promise. No, but So go ahead, like, share, and just leave a little blurb at the top, letting people know why you're watching, so people will be more likely to watch. And honestly, this, we said it earlier, but social media is just such a dark place, and this is an opportunity to give people a little bit of light in it. So please just keep that in mind. And other than that, I love you guys. Thank you.
Fun turn.
Alrighty. Come on down. We're gonna talk about you liking our podcast. We need you to like the podcast. We need you to do that. Everywhere you can leave a 5-star review now. You can leave a 5-star review over there, up there, and over there. You can do it everywhere. We want you to do it. We want you to give us a 5-star review. Helps us on the business end of thing. Write a little blurb there. Let people know why you like us. Or if that's too much effort, just write hi. I don't know. Just tell us hello. That's worth it. That's 2 letters. That ain't that bad. Or just write I guess that'll help us. That'll help the algorithm. We appreciate it. Tell us a favorite energy drink, something like that. But leave that 5-star review. It helps us out. Again, social media is a dark place, and I'm from the mob.
Not really, so don't come
Not
and
really.
get us.
It's exactly. Yeah. Don't. This is a joke.
Not really, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose he's right. Comedy is not a very good
I want to talk to this Tony guy you got behind the camera.
Yeah, we want to talk to Tony. We've been looking for a long time. No, I ain't here. Anyways, have a great day. Jesus loves you. Also, if you have any bad opinions, just walk on down the street. Keep going. Go get a cannoli or something. I don't know. Just keep walking down. You don't need to stay here and leave a 5-star review if you don't like us. I mean, if you don't like us and you leave us a 5-star review, cool. But if you leave us a 1-star review, I got a lot of questions. I ask you to leave. You can go on down the street, get a cannoli, get a nice meatball sub.
Okay, Tony. If you're still here, yeah, thank you. Please do that. One other thing to leave you guys with. Listen, some of you guys are out there, guys, gals, people in between. Some of you are out there. There is no in between. Guys, gals, young, old. That's what I meant. People in between. This is something I want to tell you. Some of you are sitting out there right now and you're not feeling like you have any value. That's just the truth. And you don't tell anyone, but you feel worthless and you feel like whether it's just you've messed up or no one cares or all those lies that go through your head, the key word is a lie. The truth is, regardless of where you are, even if you don't believe in God, He believes in you enough to do this. You were created. The Bible says you were fearfully and wonderfully made. That means that God created you individually, uniquely. There has never been another you, and there will never be another you. That means you're special and you have a purpose, and that God loves you so much. So it doesn't matter if the whole world turns against you. The creator of the universe thinks you're worth it and you're enough, and you need to hold tight to that and remember that. And if you're struggling, you have negative thoughts, you need someone to talk to, please get a hold of us. You can anytime at www.theremnant.life/real-talk, or go to www.theremnant.life. There's a phone number on there, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. But just know that God loves you, we love you, and we hope you have a great day. God bless.